All right, so as we wrap up here today, I thought it would be a good idea to just go over one last area that I do get a lot of questions about, and that's equipment. What kind of mouthpieces do I recommend, and what kind of instruments? In terms of mouthpieces, I find that it is super important to make sure that your sections are unified. This is going to make sure that you at least are attempting to get a more unified sound, with the understanding that not everyone's going to have the same tone quality control. But it's just a good way to start that process of unifying some things. So with that being said, trombone will be the first one that I would talk about, and that is the Bach 5G there. The Bach 5G series is a great way to set them up basically from high school on. I mean, I know plenty of professionals that play on a Bach 5G or a model that is based on the Bach 5G setup. So if you think about the 6.5 AL, that would be their beginner mouthpiece. As the numbers get smaller, the mouthpiece gets bigger. So bass trombones use like a 1G. So a 5G is a good next step from the 6.5 AL that's going to allow them to maybe access the low range a little bit easier, but without sacrificing the ease in the high range. The next one, this guy here, the Schilke 51D, is a great mouthpiece for euphonium and baritone, and those come in both large and small shank, as well as medium. So there's a lot of options there depending on the shank of the instrument that you're using. I know that we use the large shank with our marching instruments. With that there, that D is going to indicate that it's a deeper cup, so that really helps give that nice warm euphonium sound. And it is usable on the trombone. So if you're, students asking what kind of mouthpiece that they could buy for trombone and then use on, say, their marching baritone as well, the Schilke 51D is a great mouthpiece to go for. Lastly, this long name here, the Kahn Helleberg. That's for tuba. Okay, the Kahn Helleberg has been an industry standard for years now, and you'll find that a lot of companies will use that as sort of the gold standard. Everything's based on the Kahn Helleberg. This is the style of the Kahn Helleberg, or they'll simply say Helleberg. So that's a really great one. Again, that will take a kid from 8th grade all the way through high school. I don't recommend anything bigger than that. I know a lot of kids like to start on the Bach 24AW. I think that's a great beginner mouthpiece. The 18, again, Bach, as the numbers go down, the mouthpiece gets bigger. So the Bach 18 is actually a really, really big mouthpiece. So I try to tell my middle school students to stay away from that. And then, so it would be like 24AW. High school, they move to a Kahn Helleberg. Juniors and seniors can then start to kind of go away from that. I'm a huge fan of Giddings and Webster. In fact, I just got back yesterday from a trip to Seattle where I actually got to go see Ivan Giddings make this mouthpiece live in front of me. That was pretty cool, from just a chunk of stainless steel into this cut here. I like stainless steel simply because it gets rid of the allergic reactions that a lot of kids are going to have. There's a good bit of lead exposure that goes on with silver-plated mouthpieces, so this is a good way to kind of minimize that and make sure that the chops are being taken care of properly. They tend to be a little bit more expensive. They do make mouthpieces for every instrument. I think the tuba may be the best one, but I do have a lot of kids on trombone and euphonium mouthpieces as well. And then, there's, for the colder months and stuff, I mean, the plastic is not my favorite, but it does help just if you're in extreme climate issues. That can kind of keep some of the temperature feelings and just making sure the mouthpiece doesn't get too cold. Again, not my favorite. But hopefully that kind of helps with the mouthpiece selection. Again, we've got for trombone, the Bach 5G, for euphonium and baritone, the Schilke, and that's Schilke 51D. And then for tuba, the Kahn Helleberg there is a good option just to kind of get them through that area. In terms of instruments, that's one of those that I don't mind fielding questions if you want to email me, because there are a lot of options on the market right now. I can tell you here at the high school, we have the Miraphone 91 series, which has been a really great horn, a little bit stockier, a little sturdier, just a really great all-around tuba for that area. And then with the middle school students, their preference is the St. Petersburg tuba. Not great, but very durable and can hold up to the pounding that they're going to take at the middle school level. And then with like say baritone and trombone, your Yamaha and Bach instruments are always fantastic ways to go. Although I will say that Eastman is coming a long way. I'm really liking their products, and as well as like say Getson is another great one. So hopefully that kind of helps there and gives you just like a starting point with mouthpieces and horns. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me email or phone.